Today I'm going to show you how to improve your squat mobility by focusing on two things: ankle mobility and tibial rotation.
Get up and get down, get up and get.
Hey guys, thanks so much for stopping by the YouTube channel. There are two factors that help you get a deeper squat. Ankle mobility is one we've commonly talked about, but today I'm going to also show you how tibial rotation can allow you to get a deeper squat. Now, what we're going to do today is show on Chad how you can screen and uncover and then fix problems in both ankle mobility and tibial rotation so that you can get a better squat. So Chad, let's put that bar away. We're going to start with ankle mobility, the ability of your knee to go over your toe. Obviously, the more your knee can go over to the toe, the deeper you can squat. So what Chad's going to do is come up and do the 5-inch wall test. He's going to place his foot a thumb and a fist away, roughly 5 inches from the edge. Now what we're going to do is screen both sides. So from right here, he's going to keep his hips square and drive his knee towards the wall as far as he can. Now you can see on his left side, he can pretty easily touch without his heel popping off the ground. So this is good mobility for the left ankle. Now let's try the right ankle and see what we find. So again, 5 inches from the wall, or a thumb plus a fist is roughly that. Without his hips swiveling side to side, he can get about a fist away. So he has a pretty big difference side to side, something that we're going to work on and show how improving that can also help with squat depth. So let's come up here. What we're gonna work on is a banded joint mobilization. So I'm gonna have Chad put this band around the top of his foot and get a lot of tension on it. Now the big thing is that this band needs to be on the top of the foot, not up here on the shin bone. You have a bone in the top of your foot. Let's come on over here to Tommy, called your talus. Now this talus goes this way whenever you get knee over toe translation. And what happens is that if this area is blocked and we don't get this nice smooth motion, we're limited in how far the knee can go over the toe, getting into a deep squat. So working on improving this motion allows us to get into a deeper squat. So here's how it's going to look with a band and joint mobilization. This band's going to be on the top of the foot. He's going to get a lot of tension on it. Very good. We'll just go right there. Very good. Okay. This band, again, look at where we're at. Band is on the top of the foot underneath the big ankle bones. And from right here, he's going to drive his knee forward over his toe. Big thing to focus on with this, the knee is going over his lateral toes. A lot of people I see doing this where the knee is being pushed on the inside part of the foot. Again, we want to try to mobilize in a position that we want to end up in the bottom of the deep squat, which is the knee in line with the foot. So he's going to be pushing, holding for a couple seconds, and back. This is called a mobilization with movement. And the idea, again, is that we're assisting the natural joint mechanics to enhance the ability of the knee to go over the toe, which is what you need in order to get into a deep squat. Now, something like this, with most of the athletes that I work with, I'm just gonna have them do maybe about 5 to 15 reps, depending on their level of mobility and what they need. But the big thing that we always do is we test and we retest to see if what we did actually was efficient in bringing out any changes that we need. So that's probably about what, 10 to 15 or so? So we'll get a smooth dismount, making sure that we don't get yanked back too hard. Okay, and let's come back over. And we'll retest. So again, thumb and a fist away. See how far we can get without his hips swiveling again. Now he's about 4 fingers. He was like a full fist away. So we improved maybe even 3 fingers. We improved a little bit on that, showing that's a helpful tool. Now, it's not the full picture because we still need to understand the tibial rotation component. So let's come over here. Next, I'm gonna have Chad take a seat on the platform when we're using the Fitmap trainer, which allows us to really visualize things well. If you guys are interested in the Fitmap, I'll link it below. Basically, what we're gonna do is have the toes lined up on the outside of the twos and very straight, or just on the outside of the different lines. From here, without allowing his knee to move in, he's going to slide his foot in as far as he can. Now you can see right there, we've got a good amount. Let's do the same thing on this side. Okay, now you can see he's got a little bit more on that side compared to that. Let's do that one more time and hold that end position of each one. So go as far as you can. Very good. And then the same thing on the other one. So that is tibial rotation. Now, if you come right here, let's look on Tommy. As you squat down, we're not just in one plane of motion, which a lot of people will believe is the motion of dorsiflexion and the knee flexion up here. There's actually a little bit of rotation that's taking place at the knee and at the ankle down here. Now, specifically, if we look right down here, as you squat down, your tibia, your shin bone, is going to be internally rotating like this. Okay, so we're taking this internally rotating and tipping to the side. So this internal rotation of the tibia allows a weightlifter to have his knees, along with the motion of abduction, coming out to the side. Now let's look at what that looks like on Chad. If you were to squat down right here, tibial rotation allows his shin to twist this way and then tip to the side. And if we're missing a little bit side to side, he won't be able to have his feet nearly as straight forward. One foot will want to spin out to the side. So how you improve that, if you found an issue in tibial rotation, what we're gonna use is a band, and here's how we're gonna do this drill. So let's put that underneath the one that was a little stiff. He's going to put this band directly underneath the base of his big toe right there. Not underneath the tip of it, but underneath the base. Now from there, what he's going to do is tension the band. He's then going to engage his glute and open his hip. Now, you're only going to open the hip as far as you can without your foot collapsing up. What happens is that if he goes too far, what happens to the band? It snaps out. So we want to make sure that the foot stability is our first priority with this drill. So you smash the band down, create good tripod foot, and then tension the band, open the hip up. Now, this is not a mobility drill that is trying to enhance flexibility, but instead is increasing your neuromuscular control, basically teaching your body how to move a little bit more optimally. So what he's doing is opening up the hip and teaching the body, this is the position we want to be in. We want that glute engaged and our foot to remain stable. So we're teaching the body this proper internal rotation of the tibia. Even though it looks like it's coming this way only, it's tilting to the side and internally rotating in order to provide this ideal position. So again, something like this, I would maybe do about 10 reps for a 5-second hold. And if you're doing this correctly, your glute will be on fire.
It's hurting.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so once we're done with those, I'm gonna have Chad retest and we'll see what it looks like. Okay. There you go. Now, Chad, what I want to know is, in your experience, how does tibial rotation and ankle mobility play a part in achieving that full depth squat?
Yeah, it's been great to learn about tibial rotation in the first place and picking it up from you, I think up to a couple years ago, and learning how to test it and learning what it meant. I never heard of tibial rotation before that, right? But seeing how much I have, and even the slight difference that there was in this side versus this side, what we've established is what we're looking for is a minimum of about 20 degrees. Yeah. So I've got well beyond 20 degrees on both sides. And since I have that excess range, is what we would call it, that allows me to compensate for the lack of mobility I have on this side. Now, if I do a good banded joint mobilization on my ankle, I can usually get 2 extra inches from the test when I'm cold, which is a huge help. But I was born with a club foot, so it'll never match this side.
It'll never be amazing.
Yeah, this side can go 6 inches on the 5-inch wall test. You know, this one's 4 inches behind that wall. So what that allows me to do is still be able to squat with a straighter foot. You know, this shoulder width stance that I have and that I like to use, and then go around. You know, here I can go straight forward. But what I'm doing, what my body has learned to do, is go around this on this side by going out further with this better foot position, and then just matching this side to that side by pushing out. And I've done that so much in a full squat position that that's basically where I land in my snatches and cleans as well. It's been huge for me in explaining why I was able to squat that way, because without that good tibial rotation on this side, I know that my receiving position in the snatch and clean would look like this. This foot would come up and then land probably around about where it is, and this one would go like that. It would go forward, it would go out, and it would turn out, because I don't have that ability to do this, right? It would just be kind of stuck here, and duck to the inside. So very thankful for tibial rotation, that I know what it is, that I know how to test it, that I know how to address it, not only with my, well, I don't have to with myself, but for the athletes that I come across, because it's made a huge difference. I just did a clinic yesterday that a couple of those athletes, you know, are very much like this in their squat. And, you know, I've learned how to pick that up very quickly and say, you know what, it's probably tibial rotation, and it was. And a lot of times it's a combination of ankle, tibias, and internal hip rotation specifically. And what I've learned and what I feel is that from my example, tibial rotation can overcome a little bit of lacking ankle mobility, or a lot of ankle mobility, and even some hip mobility as well. So test it and work on it if you need to, because it's a huge help.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest complaints I get from a lot of people is that they've worked so hard on ankle mobility. They've done the banded joint mobilization, they foam roll, they stretch, and they still lack the proper mobility in order to squat deep. And I think understanding tibial rotation and how that allows your body to move a little bit more optimally can give a lot of people that last little piece of the puzzle to allow them to maximize their squat depth that we often don't talk about. We talk about ankle mobility like crazy, and it helps a lot of people, but I think there's still a lot of people that could get even more benefit, especially if they've exhausted ankle mobility work. Hey, have you checked tibial rotation? Because that's often an undiagnosed problem that when you actually find out, oh wow, I can't move my feet in a lot, you start working on that, especially before your squats, and pair it with some of the other things like we did today. That's where the magic happens, at really finding that last little ounce of optimal movement.
Well, for those athletes that are coaches, PTs, whatever, that are gonna scream hip anatomy, and I get it, that's a reality that we can look at. But I've ran into so many people that tell me that and say, well, my hips are shaped differently, you know, all this stuff, and say, can I see your tibial rotation? And it's basically completely locked up. And I say, well, go fix this, and then, you know, then if you're still having issues. So, you know, it's a huge thing that everyone should look at. Even if you feel like you're not missing that, look at it and make sure, because it could be causing some compensation that you're not aware of.
Definitely. So I think the end goal of everything that we do here at Squat University, and everything that Chad is doing with Vaughn weightlifting and now barbell mobility, which you guys need to check out, is to create educated athletes. And the more tools and tests that you have in your toolbox, the better you can be at finding the problems that you have and what things you can do to improve it and find what's optimal for your body. And I hope this video now gives you just a little bit more tool in the toolbox to understand what may be holding you back at finding your best looking squat, understanding ankle mobility limitations, but also tibial rotation. So hope you guys liked today's video. Please go follow Chad on Instagram and on YouTube. We'll link all of his different sites in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, happy squatting.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.